Well, good evening and welcome. Welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Fox, here on the panel this evening is the one and only Bridgeman and the great George Logan. Evening, George. Evening, Bridge.
How you doing, boys? All right?
I'm fine, Brad. Yourself?
Aye, good to be on. Thanks for having me on again. Looking forward to a good play about the Rangers tonight, Ox.
Absolutely. Can I just say a big good evening to you two guys? Huge good evening to the boys in the lobby and to all the Rangers fans listening in all over the world. Good evening and welcome to Rangers Radio.
Right, we all must have had Sunday must be out our system by now, George, yeah?
It's good to be Ox. Horrible result. We've treated it like it was a defeat. We dropped points, bad enough. But I don't think we're going to go. Anybody's going to go through the full season without dropping points. We need to dust ourselves down and go again. Everyone is on here. We've been critical. We can where we went wrong. We blame the manager for certain things as well. So for me, there's no if buts or maybes. Out at the weekend, 3 points, Ox, and try and make what we've done wrong at the weekend that wee bit better for us.
Bridge, are you back on the solids yet?
I am indeed, pal. Yes, I was really upset about that. It was felt like a real fatal wind at times, you know, and to watch our team, shall we say, struggle in front of goal the way we did, because we had massive amounts of percentage, 80% of the play and loads of possession, making some nice passes, some good crosses getting into the box, and we just couldn't. Well, apart from the free kick from Barisic, you know, their goalkeeper made some nice saves, but really it was our own fault for not scoring goals.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
we've got to look forward now. Football's all about looking forward, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. You know? Well, we've got a huge game coming up. Biggest game of the season. Yeah.
Everyone is. Yeah. George, we should have any problem with Kilmarnock at Ibrox, should we?
No, but we need to be guarding against this complacency. So, like I said last week as well, we need to go. I don't know if we talk our team up because I think we're going in the right direction. Me personally, I think we're going in the right direction. So we talk our team up. And I've done it on here before. I've done it before games and things like that. And somebody's had a bit of a nightmare. We've got a good team, Ox. We've not got a great team, but I've got a good team. I think we need to maybe stop being too nervous about losing goals at the back and concentrating and scoring goals. We've got a good forward line. We've got a good centre half in that. We've got a good forward line now. We should be able to score goals and take the pressure off a wee bit. I think we've just got to dust ourselves in, dust ourselves in, get in Saturday and prove that we can actually be a good team again, Ox.
Aye, fair comment, mate. Aye. We must be a good team, George, because everybody wants to buy all our players, you know.
Well, this is it, Ox. I mean, I'm not saying we're a great team because we're still. I keep on saying we're still a couple of players missing for what I would want is to think we can actually go forward and win this league now. I think when we get the players in, but people are looking at our players and things like that. We're playing some good football. The other weekend there, we've got to get out. As simple as that, Ox. We can't feel sorry for ourselves, and we have got good players in our team. Barisic and centre halves looking well, good, fairly goalkeepers. A lot of folks say about our captain and things like that. Our captain's done well for us over the year, Ox, and the forward line, Alfredo and things like that. So we have got good players worth the watching, and I think we can go and we can make a big improvement. And say we've got to make a big improvement at the weekend, Ox.
Aye.
Yeah, agree with that.
His phone's beaten, but can you put it on silent? Hi, Bridge. We have got good players, and the quality has been added to the squad in 2 years. It's quite remarkable, right? We're talking about millions for all our players, all these assets we've got. Personally, Bridge, I think that all this is a job by the media trying to unsettle and rouse their support, mate. Just that's all it is, I think. It started with Ellis, then it was Barisic, now it's Kent. I think the next one will be Golson, and then you're going to have to listen to this guy. I think it'll be a source close to Ibrox, that famous one.
Can for instance, can the Rangers fans know just as soon as they would see that, and for instance on the Daily Record or and the BBC or whatever, someone mentions a source close to Ibrox, nobody should have any sources anywhere near Ibrox. So we can kill
nothing,
that. Sorry?
That could be the lollipop woman at the school across the road.
No, what I'm meaning is that
she's a source close to Ibrox.
I know, pal. I know, but they can say these things, but we should be able to just completely disbelieve that now, because there's nobody that we know of. There is nobody inside Ibrox feeding any information like they used to do, feeding any information out to the newspapers. Over the last couple of months, you saw how well the Rangers done with bringing players in and things like that. Nobody knew nothing about it. First thing you saw was it come out on Twitter or somewhere else in the Rangers world, but nowhere in the mainstream media papers. And they're all raging. And apparently the Daily Record's banned for Ibrox, as far as I'm led to believe. So.
I don't think they are, Bridge.
Well, they haven't been at any invitations to the Daily Record to attend any press conferences.
Well, nobody has, mate. They're not done by Zoom.
No, but they don't attend. That's what I mean. They've never been invited.
It's been their choice. George, I just think that we've got to wise up a wee bit, and there's people playing games and try. I don't know. I don't know if they're trying to unsettle the players. I don't know if the players bother, but maybe unsettle the support, shall we say?
Oh, I get what you're saying, and that I totally understand what you're saying. But I think we're at a point where you and I and every single one of us on this call tonight would actually agree that where we want to be. If we were a few years ago, people are actually looking at our players, and even if it is a media spin or anything like that, and you think to yourself, right, Barisic, for example, I can see Barisic going to another team and being a big success because he is a good player for us, and I think that's where we've got to go over the last few years. I think we've missed the actual selling prospect of guys coming to our club. We were getting guys at the end of their career coming on and doing a job for us, auction and things like that. We're at a point now we could probably go through our team 5 and 6, 7 players that's worth upwards of £10 million. We've had to find B James Ox, and if it takes us going out there and finding Morelos for £1 million and selling them on for 15 and 20 million and things like that, Ox, that's the point I want our club to be back at, Ox, because it's when good or bad. I think that's where all Scottish football needs to actually get the revenue for Ox.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How do you see the value in the team then? What, if we take the first 11 who started on Sunday, George, remarkably, right? After the game, you wouldn't have valued them for tuppence, but if we're being realistic, and I mean being realistic, what are you valuing at that first 11 at, George? Just roughly.
Roughly, realistically, Ox, let's just, for example, say Barisic, Ox. Just take Barisic, for example. We paid 2.3 million, I think it was, for Borna Barisic. He's turning to be a good player. He's at an age now where he's at that 27, 28-year-old. For me, personally, I just seen a boy for Leicester going for £80 million. I think Barisic is a £20 million player, Ox, and that's not me going over the score. I think
using the English. That's the problem if you're using the English.
That's what I was about to say right now. Ox. Now, last season we asked the question about was Ryan Kent worth £7.5 million, and a lot of folk in here said he wasn't worth that. But that was what he's valued at, Ox. We've not really got that pulling power up here to turn around and say to certain teams, well, that's what he's at, because sometimes if you get a bid of 10, 15 million for certain players, you've just got to take it, Ox, because that's the market we're in, Ox, and it's sad to say sometimes, but it makes you. I'm glad we're in that market now, because I thought a year ago, Stellenbosch Juniors wouldn't have even took any of their players, never mind teams England coming up and getting them.
So £20 million for Barisic. Big McLaughlin, we'll put him down to zero at the moment because we got him as a free, but just watching him. But he is an asset because he's looking a good goalkeeper and he's thing. So what about our captain then, Bridge? What value do you see him at? I've got 20 million so far. I'm going to count this up.
Yeah, sure. We can't be saying 20 million for Tavernier as well. I'm just saying we can't be. So I would suggest some guys who are, shall we say, more up to date insofar as player prices than me, were saying it was between 5 and 7 million was probably a good value for Tavernier. I would say that we've done very well in the European games, including where Tavernier's played in virtually every one of them. So why are we not thinking, as a support, why are we not thinking that guy should be up around about the 10 million mark? Why? I can't understand.
There's a few factors, isn't there? I'm just going to look at his age, mate.
What, be 27?
I think he's a wee bit older than that now, mate.
Okay.
I'll just check it out, mate. But what about yourself, George? What would you see James Tavernier at?
Well, you're saying about his age. I thought he was actually about 30, to be honest, James Tavernier. So there he goes, a bit younger. And everybody forgets we bought him for £200,000, Ox. But we've made him into the captain of our club. We've made him a captain of a club that's gone for places in the last 16s, European and things like that. He's the captain that night. He's taken us to Parkhead and we're going in there and we're winning and things like that. He's the captain. So for me, realistically, if I was going to buy a player like James Tavernier for down south, I'd maybe be expecting to spend a couple of million. But he's coming for Rangers, Ox, and he's coming for Rangers being the captain. I think James Tavernier's still upwards of a £5 million player. And
he's 29. He'll be 29 in Halloween, George.
29, well, there you go, Ox, 29. See, to be honest, if somebody came in with a £5-6 million offer for James Tavernier, I don't think you could knock it back. But £2 and £3 million is just pathetic. So for me, I would probably agree with Bridge. I'd probably be at £6 million, £7 million.
You're saying £6 million? If you're saying £6 million, who am I to argue with you? Right, okay, I'm putting that into the calculator. Right, 20 million or 6 million. Right, so we're 2 centre halves. We started the game. But Big Golson, who this year is arguably been my most consistent performer, Bridgeman.
I would 100% agree with that. I think he's a superb player for us. Don't say he's your best player in the whole world or anything. No, but he's been a real good performer for us. And he's put on the last couple of weeks. He's put on some great performances, marvellous. And to be honest, can play alongside virtually anybody. And that's the way he is. I think he's a smashing player. And the deputy captain or vice captain. And I think are you asking for his what do we think he's worth?
Yeah, that's the game we're playing.
Well, I think we got him for about 3 million. And I reckon he's been up in value since then. Because remember he had an illness, shall we say, hanging over him that reduced the price. Brighton would have got a lot more for him if he hadn't been ill. But Rangers took the chance, we've got him.
Here's a remarkable stat for you, George. I mean, for a guy that we're worried about his fitness when he came in the door, right? Yeah.
Aye.
So he's only in the door 2 and a bit year, isn't he? He came in the door, Managerial. I think it might have been Managerial's first, his own signing. He's played 110 games for our club, mate.
Aye, I seen that. I seen something the other day, Ox. I'm into European games. He's played for our team as well, Ox. And for me, I'm not his biggest fan, Ox. I'm not his biggest fan. But when you think about what we paid for him, and I agree with Bridgeman, I think he has got better over the space of the time he's been here. And he did have a bad illness and hadn't been playing football for a long time. But when you put into that, he's played 100 games. And I do say about James Tavernier captain us in European games and things like that. Big Golson's made some mistakes as well, but he's also been there in all 100 of the games, Ox, trying his best for us. So yet again, Ox, we're talking about adding value to our club. If you went to the boy before that and the boy before that, I think you'll add 2 million onto his value anyway, Ox. If I'm perfectly honest, so we got him for 4 million. I say he's a £6 million defender, and maybe folk will say I can't believe you're saying that. We didn't rate him. I didn't rate him, but I didn't rate certain boys down south as well, Ox. That's priced well higher than that. So if somebody came in and said, "You 3-4 million for Golson," no, for me, I think he's a £6 million player as well.
Okay, mate. He's going to be 29 and week before Christmas as well. So I'll give you 6 million for Golson as well.
Yeah, 6 million. Yeah.
Big Helander, Swedish internationalist, played in Italy. Obviously had a bad injury, but coming back for it. Bridgeman.
Well, I think we bought him in for, I think it was £4 million we paid for him. So that's, you can correct me if I'm wrong there, but I don't think he's been a bit unlucky from an injury perspective, and he's not had the longest runs like Golson has. But he's a tidy player. I like him a lot. But I wouldn't say he was worth any more than £4 million without proving it. And he hasn't. To me, he hasn't proven. I'm a big fan, but he hasn't proven it. He's not. To me, he's not a £6 million. I don't think he's playing as well as Golson, and that's simply because he has a lack of games. That's all that is. And I'm sure that he'll come through nice. I think he's a smashing player. Good player for us. Plays well on the left of the central defence. Absolutely brilliant for me. And Lang May is Lumreek, but I wouldn't go as far as 4 million.
I would say the same as what Bridgeman said there, to be perfectly honest with you, Ox. I think that it's quite for us to actually put a value on the guy. He's been really unlucky with injuries last season, the most of last season, and He's came out a game this season, but he's played a handful of games, if we're honest. So for me, I can't really put a value on him because he looks like a good centre half. I think he could be a good centre half, but he's been really unlucky with injuries when he's time at Rangers for me. Like
he's only 24.
Aye, it's sad because I thought he was going to be a really good player for us, and he might still be a good player, but he's had a couple of bad injuries, unlucky injuries for him as well. So I hope he gets better because I think there is a good centre half there, Ox. So
we'll just stick to the 4 million then, yeah? I know that's not a lot of money to you, Bridge, but it's to me and George. Right, so that's the defence, and we're up to 36 million. So we move into the sort of midfield three. Arfield, I'll say, because of the stage of his career, I'll take him out of the equation. We've got 2 assets there, Jack and Kamara. It's been rumoured for Kamara, £10 million. That's been the figure that's been mentioned in the so-called smart Scottish press. Are we going to stick with that number?
Is it me first?
If you want, mate.
Okay, I was going to say it. I'm not dead sure if he's a £10 million player, but if he was someone offered the club £10 million, I would take it. I would suggest he's probably worth about £5 or £6 million. His recent form has been really, really good. He's not the most skillful player in the whole world, but my goodness, I think he's played very well the last couple of games. I'm happy with that. If he can retain that type of form and go forward, but he's still quite young as well, you know. So if he can go forward with that, then and let his form build, he'll be a great player for us. He'll be a great player.
They gave you $10 million last Thursday for him, but this Monday when they give you 10 bob for him.
Yeah, I know that, pal. All I'm saying is that, you know, if you look at his last few games, he's played very well. And okay, people's opinion changed, but people thought he didn't have a great game at the weekend there, and that will happen to all world players. They're going to run out there and not play very well.
So you're going for about $5 million then?
I would suggest that he's probably worth in the market something like £5 million.
Okay then, George.
See for me, Ox. I mean, I can't value in our own players here. I just hope there's nobody actually listening to this. But see, perfectly honest, for me, I can't be going for 50 grand. But a couple of times, Ox, I think I've seen the £50,000 player in there, Ox. And that's what I'm saying. We're talking about replacing. Me personally, I spoke about replacing either him or Jack the other night there. With a right good midfielder. We spoke about Kenny McLean and things like that, and they're valued at £6 and £7 million. I don't value Glenn Kamara anywhere near any people's talking about. For me, watching him, being honest as a Rangers fan, I think he's a couple of £1 million player, Oxen. That's me being perfectly honest.
I'll tell you what I'll do then. I'll take the difference between you and Bridge, and I'll put him in at £3.5 million. Is that fair?
I would not.
Yeah, go for that. Sounds good to me.
So like him, George. Don't worry.
I know we're valuing our players, Ox, but for me, I didn't even like hanging down about our Rangers players. And perfectly honest, Ox, if somebody came in for him last week for £10 million, Ox, I mean, I would have set him in a second.
All right. So Ryan Jack, been with the club a few years now. What are you thinking, George?
What age is Ryan Jack at about Ox?
You tell me you don't know what the player's birthdays.
I know.
I think he's about 27. I think
he's 28 actually, Bridge. So there you go.
28. There you go then. Yeah.
So for me, I mean, personally honest, Ryan Jack. I like Ryan Jack. I think Ryan Jack was. I think he's one of our best players last season. He really came onto a game, scored a few cracking goals for us. I thought I was going to be a bit of a feature in the game. Ryan Jack for me. What would I value Ryan Jack about? I would value Ryan Jack about £3-4 million, Ox.
He's 28 this now.
28.
You know, he's been at the club a year longer than Golson, and he's played the same amount of games. Just shows you how consistent Big Golson's been in it.
Big Golson's no ran into the terrible decisions that Ryan Jack got, red cards and goodness knows what, unfair stuff, you know. So there's a bit of that in it, you know. I would agree with George, but I would go a wee bit higher. I would put Ryan Jack. If I had to have a replacement for Ryan Jack, you're going to have to pay something like £5 million, and I think he's a smash. He's been a great asset for Rangers, and he's still key within our Rangers midfield.
Did you say, George? What did you say? 4?
Aye, I would say about £3-4 million for Ryan
Well,
Jacky.
so I'll split the difference and I'll go 4.5 million. Yeah.
Right, cool for that.
Right. So that's the midfield took care of it. And then we're into the three forwards players, who was Hadji, one of my all-time favourites, Morelos and Ryan Kent. Take the three of them in one hit and use your valuation, George.
Well, my valuation, I mean, for wee Alfie, I mean, I genuinely believe if anybody is out there looking for a striker and somebody that can score goals and get a fair deal when he's in the league he's playing, and I think wee Alfie's worth 25 million.
Right.
I really do. His age and his things like that. Really, I think he can go far in the game. So on the Hadji, for example, look, I agree with you with Hadji. The money we pay for Hadji is probably what he's worth now. So if somebody was coming in and offering that money, that's probably roughly what he's worth.
All right, so we'll say that's 5 for Hadji, roughly. That's 30. What about Ryan Kent?
Ryan Kent, I would actually think that Ryan Kent is probably valued at what we paid for him, Ox. I don't think he's been upping. I don't think he's been doing anything. I think that's probably what his value is, if I'm perfectly honest. I thought he was going to come up here and be... He's done well, Ox. He scored a few correct goals, so don't get me wrong. But I thought he really came up here and set the place on fire, and he's not really done it. So I would value him roughly about the same as we paid for him, Ox.
All right, so I'm going to add the front three. It's 38 million quid approximately, yeah? You argue with that, Bridge? Are you getting different?
I think we're... it's wishful thinking with Alfredo Morelos. I believe, like George, that the guy's worth it from a market perspective. He's worth it, but I don't think we would ever get it for that. So I don't know whether we should. I don't know whether I should even mention that, but that's how I feel. I would suggest that you would be, if we could get £20 million for Alfredo Morelos, I think I'd be very happy. Although in the great big world of the transfer market, and sometimes it's back to the usual crap of life. It's who you know what you know, and some teams' players are way overinflated and they still get the money for it. That's the way I look at it.
What about Hadji?
Hadji, I would say we would get the same money as we paid for him. I think we paid £5 million, and that's about right. We won't get any more for him at the moment because he hasn't moved forward in any great shape. And it's the same with Ryan Kent. Much as I love the young lad, I think he's a smashing player. But he's got another 2 years to go before we'll see the improvement in him.
All right, so I'm going to take George's valuation.
Absolutely, Bud, go for it.
And that means we're up to, and without maybe we're prize asset at the moment, Joe Aribo, mate. That's a squad of 82 million. When I would reckon that when Gerrard walked in the door, the whole squad might have been valued about £10 million.
Yeah.
George?
That's where we want to strive to be, Oxen. It's maybe nowhere certain folk want to see the club going and things like that, but that's where we strive to be. And I don't think we were overvaluing Alfredo Morelos. We'd maybe get 15 million for him or 20. It's one of the ones where it depends on what the person's wanting to spend on him. But I think he's that type of player. And Joe Aribo, I'm quite glad you never actually said to put a value on him, because I was raving about Joe Aribo last year, playing in the cages and how good he was. I think we're starting to see even merit this season. So for me, Joe Aribo wouldn't have a value at all, because I want to see the lad growing and become a right proper Rangers player for a few years.
But we don't miss somebody out, Oxford. Is that not just 10 you put in?
No. I said Arfield, we didn't put any value.
Arfield, I'm sorry, you're right enough.
All right,
enough.
so
Apologies.
People want to join us. What's the number, Bridge?
The number's 0141 356 1972.
Our joins at Skype at rangersradio.online. We brought in a call by the executive producer, Mr. Fox, who's manning the lines tonight. It's your show. Come in and join us, ask a question, make a comment. Feel free, George, yeah? So, just shows you. I mean, that what made me think of that tonight is when you've seen all this stuff about Kent, and I just think it's paper talk, social media talk. Things spread like wildfire nowadays, didn't they, George?
Aye, that's it, Ox. I mean, you're right, mate. You're saying it was Alfie first, and our manager came out and said it did unset him a bit. It was talk about Borna Barisic. There has been talk about Goldson. Now there's also talk about Kent gone, and people are now putting values on him and things like that. And like you say, it's came to a source inside Ibrox, it's came to this one, came to near Ibrox and things like that, which is absolutely right. But I honestly think that we need to try and hold on to all these guys, Ox, if we want to make any show this season at all.
There's also loads of social media sites out there. Well, I don't know if it's social media, internet sites, mate, that are clickbait, and they've got thousands of adverts on them, and they're only wanting people to go and read, look at their pages. So they
that's exactly it, Ox. Aye.
You know, Bridge. I'm not surprised. I think the next man will be Goldson. Personally, that'll be the next one.
Are you meaning they're attacking our players?
Oh, they're trying to walk. We've been joined with a caller.
Uh-huh.
Caller.
Right, Ox. It's Mark from Cumbernauld.
Hello, Mark.
Right,
how's it going,
right.
Mark?
How are you doing, lads? All right?
Aye, cool. And you?
Aye, no bad.
Everybody safe in your world, Mark?
Aye. It's just, I think I heard you last night saying about the two sitting midfielders. It was quite obvious at the weekend that half an hour into the game, we had to take probably Jack or Kamara half and fire another striker on. When they're just sitting with 6 defenders at least, kicking the ball up the park, there's no point in playing with 6 defenders ourselves.
I get your point, Mark. I don't think we necessarily have to make a substitution. We could do. I mean, it wouldn't have been Jack or Kamara. I would have took off personally, but I think what you have to see when it's like that, we have to push our team up apart so there's a gap and the midfielders become effective in the forward line. They were playing at times beside with 2 centre halves. George?
Far too deep, Ox. That was my point as well. I can see what Mark's saying there about the two of them sitting far too deep, far too alike. Arfield's slightly different, but he does the exact same as well, Ox. I think Arfield not got the legs he used to have. For me, that's why I keep on saying we need another midfielder. We need to decide if it's going to be Jack or Kamara, whoever's his favourite, because everybody's got difference. And I think we're going to have to get somebody to play alongside one of them. We're going to have to have a ball winner and somebody can do something with the ball. And we've not got that the new Ox. We're sitting far too deep. And that was my point. I think we need to stop being fear to losing a goal and just thinking we can actually score more than the thing, because we've got a good centre halves and we've got a good forward line.
Bridgeman?
Yeah, you know, it looked like we needed to take one of the two off. By the look at Arsenal, I would have suggested that we only needed the one defensive mid, and we should put on another midfielder to push this game forward a wee bit. I don't know if we had one, truth be told, on our bench that would be able to do that, where Aribo was injured and so on and so forth. So
it was only really Stephen Davis who was an actual midfielder on the bench.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm meaning. You're left with a choice, and we didn't really have. Well, you could have put Stephen Davis on, but you would probably ended up with Stephen Davis coming back as well. So you're not really changing. I wouldn't think you would be changing too much. He might have improved it, but I wouldn't bet money on it. So you would have to have taken a midfielder off and put an attacker on, and that's that big boy, the big Swiss guy, Teef or something like that. So he would have been a great addition to the team at that point, and just let him sit up beside Morelos. They two as two centre forwards, and see what happens. See if the big fella can win the ball, knock it on, bring it down, put it in a danger area inside the box. Anything like that, better than what we were doing anyway.
What would you have done, Mark?
I think I'm a wee bit worried about the command. I think it's just going to be the exact same thing. I wouldn't start with Kamara and Jack. I'd play like a 4-1-3-2. But I only need one sitting midfielder. I'd play Kent, Aribo. I know Hadji's off form now, but I'd need to stick with him because I just thought Arfield, I don't know, and maybe that's a wee bit of a problem, but I think after
25 minutes, I could see it on Sunday. We weren't going to score. Honestly, I just thought, and it's worrying that the biggest worry I think is Gerrard at half time not changing it.
What worried me on Sunday with the half time, with 5 substitutes, I would have made a substitution at half time. And the substitution I would have made would have been I would have brought either Riton or Ruffon for Hadji, mate.
Aye.
I just put it again, passed him by, you know. And I don't want to have a pop at the boy. He's 21 and it's only my opinion, but that's what I would have done at half time.
Aye, I think most days would have. We're all the same when we seen Barker. Like, is that our only option here, Barker? But we brought the two new guys on for the last 20 minutes or what. It was just too late. We should have been playing like that for the start. As I said, the first 25 minutes. After the first 25 minutes, I just had a horrible feeling. I knew we weren't going to all this passing about. Jack and Kamara made a few sloppy passes, but I'm not blaming them. I didn't think we needed both of them. I think I'm right, to be honest. My opinion, I would have definitely half an hour in had I made subs. It's just fire the ball into the box, big eating or something. Maybe at the weekend I would stick Ruffon for Hadji, and I'd go with Morelos and Eaton up front with just Jack holding himself.
I think Fox said similar on Friday night before we knew Aribo wasn't fit. I think you want us to be more offensive. I think there's times to be offensive and there's times in different games that you have to have the two players in a game of football. But when you see the tactics of the teams, I get where you're coming from, Matt. George?
Folks, we need to be more ruthless. We're talking about with somebody said there with Steve Davis basically come off the bench. But it doesn't always have to be like for me with a substitute Ox, and that's where it sort of gets in my grip a wee bit. I don't know how if you couldn't have bring on Big Eaton and put him up top with Morelos just behind him, doing a wee bit more of the midfield work than he was before, because he had a wee chance because somebody up top with him. Hadji never kicked a ball, so you put Rufo in there and at the back in the midfield. Sorry. Yeah, I would definitely have changed Jack or Kamara as well. It doesn't always have to be like for you. You can actually try and do different things, and I think that's our manager's a wee bit stubborn that way. I don't think we need to sitting midfielders. I think we've got a good enough defence to hold ourselves now. We need to start scoring goals to win games, Ox.
Bridge? Come on.
Yeah, the guy was saying there about the what do you call it? The thought of bringing either Barker or Davis on, and I don't think at this present time I don't think Davis is fit enough to be playing 90 minutes in midfield. Barker, well, I think we talked about him twice or 3 times this.
I think it was the same as us, Bridge.
Yeah, I'm saying that. It just don't think he's good enough. So I think that's showing us, even though we've got a lot of people that can play midfield, we're actually quite short, truth be told. So maybe somewhere along the line, the manager, and we've all said it, truth be told, we want a really good quality centre midfielder, a Barry Ferguson type driver, and that's maybe what we should be looking at doing. We certainly don't have that, and someone that can maybe pull the team together as well. Play by example, and everybody can lift their game to that. That's probably what we do need. Sorry, Pat.
I wouldn't have made a substitution in the first half an hour, Mark, but I get your point that sitting there watching it, you make a decision, you say to Jack, right, you sit and you tell Kamara and Arfield to move 20 yards further forward. You know? And we just sat watching that and watching it, and the cloak was moving and nothing was happening. Nothing.
No, I blame Gerrard for Sunday.
It's a bit culpable, mate. I'm no anti-Gerrard. I know some people have got concerns. I think George used the word stubborn. This playbook and this, we've got to do it this way. Well, sometimes it's not about doing that. You've just got to win the football match.
Aye, that's right, Ox. I think.
On you go.
I think. Sorry, boys.
On you go, George, and then we'll go back to Mark.
I think that's what I said the other night, the Rocks. I think we've got to start winning battles and things like that first. We've got guys in the midfield that can take a jack and things like that, can take a bit of a game. Aribo can play a bit of football. We've got the boys up top. Folks, we should just be dusting ourselves down and going for this on Saturday at the weekend coming against Kilmarnock. We slipped up there at the weekend, simple as that. Guys were on off games. We need to start doing it, and like you say there, I think the manager is a bit culpable for it as well, because at the end of the day, we need to make changes. Back to Mark Warburton with Dave plan A better. No, you just change it, and we've got better players in these guys. We need to start winning these games.
Mark, I'll give you this point. If you did put 2 up, then they have to change their setup. You can change back, and you can get them moving about the part and unsettle them. Just be changing your formation. But when you stick rigid to something, it's easy to defend against.
Aye, that's true, but there's no lot of teams like Livingston and Kilmarnock that are going to put 2 up front against us.
No, they don't, mate. They don't. No. And particularly when you've seen that the centre forward couldn't run away from Big Hollander, so you're thinking, right, okay, there's not a lot of danger in behind, because if Hollander can catch him, Goldson will be able to catch him. So you've not got that worry, yeah?
Aye,
if you're a speed merchant up front, yeah?
Aye, our defence is looking quite cool. I know Hollander had a few dodgy moments, but I think that's his second game in about 8 months or something. So I think that Balogun, he's impressed me quite a lot. It looks like our quickest defender at 32, which says a lot, you know. But
look, we had a blip. Let's hope it's a blip, and we're not talking about the same stuff next week. Let's hope we're going into Kilmarnock with a positive attitude and come out with a positive result, Mark.
Well, that's up to us. Are we going to sit and pass it between Jack and Kamara to Kent, to Hadji, and pass it back to Goldson? Games like Livingston away, there's certainly six defenders at least in the box. We've got Ito and Roof on the bench. We've only got wee Alfredo running about trying to win all the heaters. But we've got to take Kamara off or something and get another striker in there. And that's the worrying thing for me as a Rangers supporter, that Steven Gerrard, the player that he was, if he can't see that, but us as supporters have got to make our voice heard. You know what I mean?
Well, we can't do it again, Mark.
It sounds as if Gerrard's banking on Roof and the boy Etan being real quality and shining through within a few weeks. That's what it sounds like to me. He wants them to come on there and do the damage. Obviously, they're no match fit, and they've got a wee bit to go with that. I don't know how long, but a wee bit to go. But that's what it sounds like. He's just we're always seem to be short of a couple of weeks with certain players or certain positions on the park. And if only, and it was like John Eustace he's nearly ready for more than a year. We heard that he's nearly ready. But
it was 3 months.
I know, Bridge. I know, pal. I know.
I've told you a million times. Don't exaggerate. You missed that one, Mark. Look, the boys that we've signed, we've not really seen that much cameos, substitute performance. Sometimes you can get a goal and it can boost your confidence. We've not seen enough for them to judge.
No.
If we'd have scraped that goal, that game 1-0 with the same performance, would we be getting all the negativity? Or is it the result?
See, we've been through that year after year. If we get a 1-0, of course there's no as much negativity. No anywhere near as much probably, but there's always things. If we win 1-0 with that Barisic free kick, there's signs to come there that it's Gerrard. It's not so much the players for me. See another thing last year with Morelos, and I was actually on a couple of weeks ago, and you asked me, is he away? And I've said aye, definitely, but maybe I'm eating my words a wee bit there. Doesn't look so much now.
Oh, don't worry. We change our views night to night, mate. Don't worry about
it.
George.
Did you see him at the weekend, Oxford? He's like that. He's had a shot. You can't get in trouble for having a shot, right? we're not going to moan at you for that. But see when he turns around after he misses his shot and he puts his bottom lip at his top lip and he's making faces to the Sky cameras as if to say, look how much I tried there, Rangers fans, with that shot. Just going to go and get the ball, get to the Livingston keeper, and so we don't waste 2 minutes time. See all this when the Livingston keeper is putting the ball down at his foot to waste another 20 seconds, and Ryan Kent is the only guy coming down to run to him, so he picks the ball up and kicks it, and Morelos is too busy feeling sorry for himself walking up the pitch because he's missed a shot. And he's done it a few times. It was Dema he done.
I'll tell you what, I had a bit of sympathy for Alfie on Sunday, mate, because I'll take this to George, mate. He didn't get any service, mate, if I'm being honest. I know he pulls faces. Some of them are quite comical, but he didn't get any service. George?
No, that's right.
Two boys, I remember.
That's what I said that the other night. The thing is, I mean, a big European game or something like that, and the striker doesn't get much service, so it's understandable. I remember Chris Boyd not getting it in Europe and things like that. Nothing really happened for him, but Alfie's trying, he's trying, and there's nothing at all coming to him. And I said that the other night there. I could see he was getting frustrated because he was doing a bit of running and things like that. But if he's not getting any service, there's no chance of him doing anything up there himself. You know what I mean?
I remember, this is from memory now, Mark. He'd one shot in the first half and he did header in the second half where he obviously should have headed it down the way. But
that was a shocking miss.
It's an easy game when you're watching in the stand, mate.
I'd have scored it.
How much you worth? 20 odd?
Yeah, honestly.
Nice one.
Honestly. I'd have done better than that, come on.
It wasn't a great effort. He should have headed it down the way. He jumped up a bit early. But it's
not even the missing chances.
It wasn't as bad as Sterling's miss, was it?
No, I don't really watch English football at all.
Did you see that open goal 4 years out? Nobody near him. Put it out the bar. Did you see it, Bridge? You'll find it. You'll find it on YouTube, Mark. Have a look. Sterling's missed last week. Unbelievable. If you think,
aye, you're right.
But Oxford,
it's shocker.
See Morelos, he hits a shot, right, and he turns around, the lips up, and the faces to the cameras. That gives the Livingston keeper another 2 minutes to waste when we're trying to stop 10 in a row. Just, you've missed a shot. I'm not moaning about you missing a shot. Just get the ball, get to the Livingston keeper so he can't baby step it to waste the time. Just see if he was a Scottish striker. Just for instance, I'm not the biggest fan of Kenny Miller, but he might have known what it meant to the fans. Morelos, you've missed a shot. Get the ball, get to the keeper. Don't let him waste that much time.
Seriously, Matt. Seriously, with the greatest respect, do you want Morelos to have the shot for 25 years out, then go chasing the ball? Seriously.
If it means stopping 10 in a row, of course.
But it's the midfield need to give him the ball in a decent area and they score a goal, and that'll stop 10 in a row.
I know it was all congested on Sunday, but it's just when it misses a shot. It wasn't even 25 years out. There was one at a corner. There was one right at the corner, and the ball went out for a goal kick, and he just turns his back, and it's just slow walk back, and it looks like he's feeling sorry for himself to me. I'm like, get the ball, get to the keeper, go on with the game, and try again.
George?
I think sometimes, I mean, last week we were on here and we went 3-0 Ox and we were still finding things to be critical about the team, because that's just the way it is. You want everybody to be 100% all the time, and we've drew nothing with Livingston on Saturday, and we're right to feel a bit sorry for ourselves and things like that, because we should be going out there and doing better. But we need to watch what we're doing as well, because we're always got to drop points as well, Ox. We're not going to go through a full season without dropping points. And like we just said there, we Alfie never got much service, and it's easy on a player's back if he doesn't score goals and things like that. But I think we're still going in the right direction, Ox. I think we are going in the right direction. We Alfie's still up for it. I really think we can just dust ourselves down, Ox, and put down a bad day at the office last weekend and march on and go and get the 3 points this week, Ox.
I think what's important is what happens after that Livingston game, Mark. If we come out with the right attitude and get the right result, if something goes awry on Sunday or Saturday at 3 o'clock, there's issues, mate.
Nah, but if it's going the same way, if it's 0-0 half time, you can't wait to 70 minutes to throw on all your strikers and get a goal. You need to be. It's more important than that.
But you've got to get it right, mate. I mean, you can't throw on 4 players at half time, mate, and then you get 2 players injured. You've got to make the right decisions. I think you should have made 1 substitution at half time on Sunday because of 5 subs. Because you've got 5 subs. Pros will very seldom, unless the game's going the right way, use their maximum subs in a close game in case somebody gets injured. You know?
Aye. Oxford, see if you watch the game back, just the wee Moreira's chances, he looks a wee bit huff every time he misses a shot. Mate, I don't mind you having a shot.
He looks huffy when he's playing well, mate.
That's true, but let's see if I'm playing. You've got to you miss a shot. You've given them the chance to waste time, right? And see when the keeper's putting the ball down. Kent's a left winger, number 10. Moreira's is a striker, might be the closest to their keeper. It was always, every time it was Kent that was running to the keeper, no let him waste time. Moreira's wasn't bothering. He was just pass the ball to me and I'll try my best. But I know we didn't get great service, it was that congested, but I still...
Let it go, Mark.
I know.
As long as we win on Saturday, that's become the big game for us. Bridgeman?
Yeah, absolutely. We need to come away from the game with 3 points. We needed to come away with 3 points at that game and we didn't. So we have to make it up. And we are at Ibrox and we have to start showing. We've said it for a long time now. We have to actually show that people have to be scared coming to Ibrox. They have to be scared. Like say what Livingston played against us, I would expect teams to want to play like that against us at Ibrox. Not at their home ground, of course, you know. But my goodness gracious, it's difficult. It's really difficult. Seriously. Big win in the weekend.
Do you feel better now you've had a bit of therapy, Mark?
Aye, I feel better. I've got it off my chest now, but... Cheers for taking my call, lads.
No, any bother, mate. You're welcome. Cheers, mate. You look after yourself, all right, mate?
You too. Cheers, lads. Thank you.
Bye. Look, you could hear the frustration in the boy's voice. Fair play to him, only because he cares, George.
Aye, that's it, Ox. You can tell that's what happens. We all care, and like you say, but Ken, it takes a few days before we actually go into solids and things like that again after the result of Ox. Because it's all right saying we've got better players. It's all right saying we've got a better team. We've got to prove we're a better team, Ox. We dropped points to Livingston last season, I think. We dropped points on this season again. Not good enough, Ox. So somebody's got to take the flag. We're on here and we're saying, me personally, is it Ryan Jack? Is it Kamara? Is it Hadji? Who is it? We need to get to the boat, mate. Stephen Gerrard needs to get to the boat, mate, as well. Because what's Sharon done with now? You can't spill great or spill milk. It's simple as that. But we've got to win on Saturday.
All right, Bridge, if people want to join us, these are thoughts. Building up the command game slowly. What's the number?
The number's 0141 356 1972.
Or join us at Skype at rangersradio.online. We'll be brought into the call with the one and only Fox, who's manning the lines this evening. George, what's it? I mean, obviously this is a massive season. What's success for you? What are you judging success on?
Ox, we need to win the league this year, Ox. I'm not bothered about cups, Europe, anything at all. I've said that for the last few seasons. It's been great going into Europe and getting all these big results, and we've had some big results in Europe. But for me, it's winning the league. It's got to be winning the league. That's the only thing that matters this season, Ox. And that's why I keep on saying, I think we're good enough to win the league with that team we've got right now. Ox, I hate to say it, they're probably still ahead of us. I think we still, and I keep on saying about this midfield, we need something in there, and it's the final part of the jigsaw, because I'm really happy with the signings we've made. We've spent a good bit of money. So I think we need another midfielder in there, and I'll be happy to say I think we can go and get this league this season, because that's the only thing that matters to Rangers fans, Ox. Well, for me anyway.
I mean, young McCrory's away, and we don't know how much money's involved, but obviously he's after wage bill. It looks as if we're just waiting for an official confirmation about Greg Docherty, rumours about Jamie and obviously Jordan Jones. If Barker wants a move, I'll drive him anywhere he wants. But So it looks as if we're clearing the decks, George, with the boys that are maybe not going to get a game. So hopefully that they bring somebody in who's going to be somebody who's a first team player, not a pool player, a first team player.
But that's what we need, Doc. Somebody to go right into that midfield. The Ken Bridgeman keeps on saying about signing a captain. I want to sign a right good midfielder, a top midfielder for the same money as we've been signing guys for recently at £4, £5, £6 million, and it's got to go right into our midfield, because the guys who's left, you've just mentioned them all, who's leaving, Murphy and McCrory and Docherty, everybody's they're all done a job at some time for us. But I could go for every one of them and pick a fault why they'll not make it as a first team Rangers player. So for to get all these guys off the books and the guys who already left, I think we spoke the other night, there's going to be 11 folk if they all leave. I think that's what needs to happen, because they're not going to contribute to us winning the league, which is our main goal this year, Ox. So we've got to get somebody that has got to do that. And if that means getting all these guys after the wage bill and replacing it with another guy, that's what needs to happen, Ox.
You can't contribute if you're sitting in the stand. You know?
That's the point.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Can I ask a question, guys?
Yes.
Has anyone heard whether the UEFA payouts for the Europa League has been done?
No, mate, I'm sure it'll be in the press. It's meant to be in the next 48 hours, wasn't it? I'm sure it'll be in the press.
We don't know yet.
It'll be in the press.
I can't believe that they're going to make the payments, because it's not finished. The Europa League isn't finished last season's. Our involvement in it is finished with it.
I think they pay it out at stages, Bridge. You know, when you get in the first round, you get it X date. You get the second round, you get it Y date, etc. Yeah,
right. And so on and so forth. Right, cool.
All right. So
that's the only thing.
Yes, mate.
That's the only thing with me, Ox. I kind of say about winning the league is most important, but we've done well revenue-wise out of Europe the last couple of years, Ox, and that can't be took away from the job that the players and the management have done. Because every game, every win, every goal counts for something. So you can't take that away. But for me personally, I would like to just surrender all that for one season, even go out in the qualifying room, whatever it is, and concentrate in the league, because I want to win that league this year, Ox. I really want to win that league this year. I'm not caring what they're going for. I want our trophy back.
We're going for 55, George. That's all we're going for. Listen, if anybody's got a different view for George and rate success differently, please give us a phone in 0141 356 1972 or join us at Skype at rangersradio.online after the tunes. In you come, Bridge. Give us your thoughts.
Well, I have to agree with George that with the greatest will in the world, we need to win wherever possible. We need to win this league this season. We had a great chance, and they threw away 2 points, and now we've thrown away 2 points, and maybe that might be a sort of turning point for that mob, because that mob came out and absolutely murdered the team that they were playing against, and we didn't. We were supposed to murder.
Stoneyburn Juniors would have gave them again.
I'm trying to say that. So all I'm meaning is that
correct.
The way the treadmill goes, you know, it looks as if we don't have a team that's capable of achieving the achievable, because, you know, no matter what happens, you're turning and saying, just go out and win your game. It's Livingston you're playing. Their best player isn't there, and their captain's not playing, and so on and so forth. But we still can't do it. We tried. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't for the lack of trying, because we tried very hard. And that's the thing. These are the hurdles that Rangers need to get over if we are expecting to win or trying to win this league. When we're trying that hard, we shouldn't be struggling. We're a really good team. We've got some really good players, and a lot of Rangers fans have got them a certain value. We've talked about that tonight. So we are by far and away probably the best midfield playing side in the league at the moment, but not on Saturday or Sunday. Rather, we were just.
No, I don't. The problem is, Bridge. If I'm being really honest with you, we haven't played particularly well in all the 4 games. We started really well at Pittodrie after we got the goal. We weren't great. We seen the game out. We huffed and puffed against Simon, and then the first 20 minutes against St Johnstone, we won the great. Big Warner turned the whole game with a free kick. I'm just being honest, George.
Aye, that's the thing, Ox. I actually said the other day to somebody we played quite well, and he said, well, what games? And you're right, Aberdeen game, but I think I was thinking about the the wee mini tournament thing we had in France as well just before the league started. I was taken because I thought we played some good football in their games as well. So you're right, we haven't actually played great football, but we've been winning games. I'll take no playing great football till the end of the season off and winning games.
I would have gave up one of the goals on Wednesday for a 1-0 win on Sunday in hindsight now, you know. And then we all might have been in a better mood, Bridge.
Absolutely true, but
all right.
Absolutely true.
So once again, after the tune, we're going to have a tune in a couple of minutes, but if anybody's got any thoughts on what their success is this season, is it different for George's? Give us a phone on 0141 356 1972 or join us at Skype at rangersradio.online. We'll bring in the call with Fox. And you come, Bridge?
I just hope that no matter what happens, we're leading up to a big game at Ibrox against a team that and over the last few seasons have given us a tough time, no matter where we play them. And we really need to come out and get a grip of our game and do the business and just go out there and play and just beat them. And we've got the ability to do it. We've got good players all over the park. Just start getting it together, Rangers. Start getting it together. And you'll find that the Rangers fans will respond, and they'll respond very positively. And you could end up as heroes and legends. And that's what we're looking for. A performance like that on Saturday, beat Kilmarnock, murder them or mollocate them, get us 3 points and some goals. That's what we want.
Simple as that, George. Simple as that. Mollification.
That's it, Ox. But I see, to be honest, Ox, is as simple as that because I believe in our players. I think we're better. They need to start believing in themselves, Ox. They're better than the teams we're coming up against. And I'm not saying all these teams are rubbish. I'm not saying that at all because some of these teams are set up really well. Hamilton and Livingston, they get set up really well and sometimes have to break down. But we've got better players, Ox, so we need to find a way around these guys to get the points.
Simple game. Yeah, it's all about winning, George. Simple as you said, it's all about winning.
Well, Bridgman wouldn't have been in the mood this week. He's been in if it wasn't for the result of the weekend, Doc. So it's simple.
Thank you, George.
He's known for his happy-go-luckiness.
Everything George is saying there. Look, we need to go forward. We need to get past the weekend there and go forward.
You're right. We need to go forward, Bridge. You've summed it up nicely.
We need to go forward. We need to lift ourselves. I don't know what our players are thinking because you don't see nobody. They never get interviewed in, for instance, in Follow. So we don't see what's happening with them and what they've got to say about anything. So you just don't know whether the managers gave them a rocket or Monday. In fact, if they were at training on Monday, so it might just mean today. So maybe we'll hear in the middle of the week. Maybe we'll hear then.
All right. All right. Let's get yourselves a mute, and we're going to have a tune. Recognise that, George? Anybody we know?
Oh, brilliant. That's absolutely fantastic. That just makes me, honestly, we've no walked once this year. Absolutely fantastic. Bouncing about the kitchen there. Brilliant.
I love it. I love it. Very good.
I'll try to find it.
Glory, glory, hallelujah. I'll tell you, boy.
So we're moving on to, we've got to part that game. And so what's the tweaks you would make? Right, let's assume Aribo's fit. We'll assume that Aribo's fit. And we're assuming he's coming straight back in. Yeah?
Go on.
Yeah. Anybody agree or disagree?
Aye, he comes right back in.
Straight back in the team, yeah? So what are you thinking for, as a slow build up, but what are you thinking about with your lineup for Saturday, George?
Well, I would bring Aribo straight back in straight away, Ox, and I ken you. I know what you think about Hadji as well. So he's not been firing for me. I'd bring Aribo straight back in. Aribo would replace Kamara for me, and I would probably put. I'd probably take Hadji out as well, and I'd probably put Roof on the right hand side, and I'd probably go with the same team. But that's a big enough change. But see straight away, Ox, like the boy was saying earlier on. Within minutes, if that's no working straight away, I'm bringing somebody on to play alongside Alfie. And if it's whoever it is playing the left or the right, whoever's not playing, you're bringing that on straight away. You've got to make these subs straight away. But I think Aribo was a big, massive miss at the weekend there, Fox.
As a street player, Bridge, he's going to take the ball up to people close, and he can take 2 or 3 people out quite quickly, yeah?
Yeah, I think it'd be a straight swap. Number one, a straight swap for Aribo and Arfield. You know,
and that's all you would do?
No.
All right.
I think I'm starting to think that Roof and Nita and Teen is they're worth a start. And I think if we any doubts about Alfie at all, then those 2 guys should be playing against Kilmarnock, and let's see what happens. And you can put Alfie in some. You can mix it up if you want.
Alfie's playing, mate.
Yeah, I don't doubt it for a minute. You're just asking what I would think. That's what I'm thinking. I think those 2 guys have had a couple of games as subby, and they need to start. They need to start at Ibrox.
Well, it's obviously good for them that they've got this week to build up. I think one of them could start ahead of potentially Hadji. Looking at it, that would be, with that position, that would be Roof, in my opinion. George?
Aye, that's where I would go as well, Ox. I think Roof would go in there as well, replace Hadji. I don't think, like we were saying earlier on, Alfie's done anything wrong for me, Ox. He's no scored the goals, which is the be all and end all of a striker, but he still making himself aware and things like that, make himself available. I think we need to get the bottom more often. So even for me, if Aribo came in there, Aribo could play in the right as well, but I just fancy him right through the middle. Ox. I think he's, like you say, he's a street player, he's a cage player, he plays in the cage, can hold on to the ball, take people on. That's where I would go with Roof on the right and Kent on the left.
See, the funny thing is, see when the few balls fell in the box, and I think one faulted Goldston, you were just waiting for somebody to tow Boca home on Sunday. I think Aribo is the kind of guy that could do that. Anyway, we've been joined by, I think it's Albert. Evening, Albert.
How you doing, all guys? George, how you doing? Nice to hear from you, mate.
How you doing, Albert? All right?
I'm good, mate. Aye, Bridge, you okay, well?
Excellent, pal. Thank you. Excellent.
Bridge, there's a message in the lobby for you, mate. You might want to read it.
Who, me?
No, Bridge. Your name's Albert.
Was it? When did that change?
How we doing, mate? What's on your mind?
You know, I just when I heard you saying what tweaks can we make for the game in Sunday. The biggest tweak we can make for Saturday. The biggest tweak we can make for Saturday is Gerrard to play a decent game, because he needs to get his finger out along with the players. It's not just the players. He needs to get his finger out. Some of his decisions now are crap. They're just crap, guys. I'm sorry, but they're just crap. He needs to now start looking at himself and going, what am I doing? What am I doing wrong with these players? Because at the end of the day, he's not giving the players a horn at all. And it's all he is. It's the team. It's the subs, it's the management team, it's the coaching team, and it's all the fans. We're all together. We've all a part to play. We can't get there to play our part, but we played our part with buying season tickets now. So we're playing our part for a distance. They're there. So I don't actually see anybody talking about the teams we play, their weaknesses. Nobody ever talks about their weaknesses. It's always us. And you go, okay, that's fine. It's all about the Rangers. But you still need to point out weaknesses in the opposition team. Not once did we hear anybody, even Gerrard, saying about a weakness in Livingston. Not once during the game do you see anybody going up into the stand to get a higher view of the game and saying, that boy's tiring in Livingston, that boy's got a knot. Something. Give the players a horn. Give them some information to work with during the game. But there's nothing coming. It's just, let's all just stand and watch the game. Well, it's not going well. All right. So we'll leave it to 70 minutes and then we'll see if it's all right after 70. If it's no, then we'll change it. It's crap. It's absolute crap. Now, we're part to Livingston game. That's going. The same will happen against Kilmarnock if he doesn't start getting on his game. And he needs to start making the right decisions. What they are is basically anything other what he's doing now. That's basically where he's today.
George? I think the manager deserves criticism for Sunday.
I definitely do. He's got to take a bit of the fall for Sunday. Like Albert says here, I mean, the guys in the park are on the park to do a job, but he's got to do a job as well. He got the sub for me, Ox. He got the subs wrong at the wrong times and things like that, Ox. I think we need to start being more ruthless, and so does the manager. And I think that's going to start on Sunday.
Bridge?
Yes, I agree with the boys are saying. Can I just come in and I'm in the lobby at the moment, and there's a Broxy62 is asking me if I could, Bridgman, can you give a big shout out to John McElroy, whose ashes have just been spread in Scotland today. My heart is with Shuggy and Andy Mack. That's the boys at for Leeds, isn't it? Andy for Leeds.
I tell you, that's their father, mate. They were coming up to do that specifically, aye.
Yeah.
So a
big shout out and well said,
everybody at Rangers Radio.
Absolutely. Everybody on Rangers Radio. All the boys are saying that in the lobby. Yeah. So well done. Okay, thanks for that time there, Ox. There. I'll just take 5 minutes spell.
Yep, all right, mate. Shuggy and Andy, one of the best, mate. I give you a comment for you, Albert. There has to be more drive, more passion. Gerrard doesn't manage like he plays, does he?
Absolutely not. And that could be a good or bad thing. But the trouble is, it's know-how. It's what you're actually doing for him to influence the game. I mean, let's be honest, the players and him are the only ones that can influence the game for Rangers. Nobody else can do it. It's only him and the players. So you're sitting going, well, give him a horn. Was McAllister sitting there with his legs crossed and his arms crossed just watching it? How does he know up in one of the stands? Having a look at... No, you get a different perspective for the game, if you're higher up you go. You can see more, you can see what's happening, you can look at weaknesses in opposition team, you can see the substitutes as well should be paying attention to the game and going, if I go on, I'm going to run at that guy, he's no good in his left-hand side, he's no good in his... I don't see any of this. I don't see a professionalism coming to the whole squad on game day I'm talking about. And I'm going, what are we doing here? Why just sitting here with our finger up our rings? What are we doing here? Somebody do something, but nobody does anything. So we come out with a crappy result. It's not that result. Let's get that straight. It's the way we played. We've been playing like that since the turn of the year, and nothing has changed.
Could hopefully be the Livingston game, George, and then back to Albert, be a blessing in disguise, if that makes any sense.
I thought about that as well, Ox. Early on in the season, to get the kick up the bum you need, like Albert saying. That's maybe what it is, but Ox, we shouldn't be dropping points to Livingston. It's just the bottom line. We shouldn't be dropping points to Livingston. We should be able to change games and beat teams like Livingston. The amount of possession and things like that, the players we've got in the park, we should be able to turn these teams over. That should just be a walk in the park for us. Kilmarnock on Sunday at game should be the weekend at home should be a walk in the park for us as well, Ox. But it doesn't turn out like that. Sometimes we're our own worst enemy when it comes to these games, holding off people and things like that. We need to be more ruthless, Ox. We need to start beating teams, and instead of talking about being a good team, we need to be a good team and start playing like we are a good team.
Albert.
Exactly, mate. For example, see the Kilmarnock game. We're going up to the Kilmarnock game on Saturday. Tell me, I can think of two weaknesses right away that team's got. I mean, does anybody else think of any weaknesses in their team? What they're no good at, what they're weak at, what they're prone to do, what is their style? We know they're going to their kick and rush. We know that forward's going up the forward line and it's going to be a boot up the park, the same as they always done. They've done it against the Scum. It's a boot up the park, and then that guy's going to battle your centre half or centre halves, the two of them, for the ball, and then Burton or them are trying to back him up. That's what's happening. We know that's what's going to happen. They're not going to play brilliant football, put it that way. So I can see weaknesses in their team. I can see two in particular. Can anybody else see any weaknesses? Does Gerrard ever come out and say, we've noticed some weaknesses in there? He doesn't have to tell you what it is. You just say, have you noticed any? Sorry, mate.
I would say that they're obviously a big Broadfoot's pace. His lack of pace at the centre-back position must be an obvious, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah. People need to run at him, yeah? And there's always a chance you'll get a penalty, yeah?
Yep. Mine's is the Powers. Powers is a nut job. You can draw him into fouls. He's a nut job, by the way. So you need to play to that. You need to say to him, look, you need a bit of bread. Draw him in. He'll draw. He'll attack you. Just let him attack you, and down you go. Same way, and they'll get wrapped up in the game. So use their temper.
They also ruined Graham Doran's career, by the way.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. So you know he's a bam. But use the fact that he's a bam against them. Same as Broadfoot. Broadfoot's a hot-tempered. They do it with Alfie. They wind Alfie up, all these teams. Why do we know picking in players and going, he's a hot-temper? We'll start noising him up and get him going. We just on their back like Boy Scouts and BB guys. No, I mean, they're too nice. And you're going, start using your brains. Have a look about what's happening. I know it's all about us. It is all about us. But John Gregg and all the rest of them, all the great teams have had, they weren't aware to pulling a few strokes and playing in other teams' weaknesses. And it's not always on the ball or after the ball. It's a case of knowing your opposition. And I don't think we know our opposition enough. Or we don't exploit weaknesses. We don't even think about weaknesses as far as I can see. Because you look at corner kicks and you look at free kicks and you look at various things that you can do in a part. Other teams earmark us. They know how to block us. They know how to... So they've worked on us. They've looked at us. Do we look at them? Do we look at Livingston? Did we work all week on Livingston's weaknesses? Did we say, they're no good at this, they're no good at that? Same as other teams. Look when Aberdeen were putting us out the cup and then beating us in the league and drawing in the league. They worked on corner kicks against us and for us. They worked both sides. They were going for dead. But they knew where the weaknesses were. They're working on our weaknesses. We don't. What's Aberdeen's weaknesses? Well, we'll just keep playing the same way. In fact, we play the same way against everybody, let's be honest.
And that's how it's easy to set up again. That's how it's easy to set up against us. Bridgeman.
It's things that I think most Rangers fans have been watching our club and our side, our teams doing it, and then they can sink from a quite a high level of football right down to ridiculously low levels, which we saw at times in Saturday and Sunday, and days before that as well. We need to be able to play good quality possession football, and some of the things that have been said tonight by some of the pundits are absolutely right. They're absolutely right. There's, the manager's got to be looked at and he's got to start looking even further, even deeper, and the assistant. All these guys have got a lot of work to do to make sure that our team are on that park ready to play and represent Rangers, because it just feels, shall we say, a waste of time. It feels a waste of time. Rangers going up to Livingston and playing for 80% of the game, or getting 80% of possession in the game and doing nothing with it, absolutely nothing. And they got 20% and did virtually nothing with that. But they had 2 shots at goal that we struggled with, and one of them was a one from 60 yards. Wow.
Let's try and part Livingston, right?
Oh yes. Sorry.
We've talked about Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and it's Wednesday. We've got to look forward now. We've got to look forward, and we've got to look at. Hopefully, Joe O'Reilly will be fit. Hopefully, for me, Hadji comes out the team with the greatest respect to the lad, George, and then we can start looking to see who's going to come in and strengthen us. I'll be disappointed if that boy starts, because I don't think he's due a start after that performance.
Aye, that's right, and you're right what you're saying, Oxen. Albert was bang on what he was saying there as well. About us, I think we're too nice. But he's talking about us winding people up the way Alfie gets wound up. We've got anybody in the team that can do that. You need somebody in your team that can do that. We're missing that. I think somebody said when they heard the other night there, and it's probably true as well. I think the nice guy Gerrard is going to close to all the players. You hear the way they talk and things like that. Ox, it might be coming on the park as well. We're maybe becoming a wee bit too nice, Ox. And I'm not saying going about and jumping folks' days when refs are watching and things like that. But do certain things to certain people, like it does to us, Ox, on the park. We've not got people in our team that can do that, wind up opposition and things like that. That's what's missing. And maybe just be that wee dirty guy in the midfield you maybe need. Like Bridgeman used to say, Jason Cummins, he used to wind everybody up. We've not got anybody that can do that now, Ox.
Albert?
Exactly. That's exactly. At times I think we need to get the Walt Disney mob to draw as a football team to play with Mary Poppins refereeing. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
But what would be the personnel you'd start thinking about for Sunday then? Saturday at 3 o'clock, mate.
Well, I gave you a sort of tongue-in-cheek team the other night there, but what I would be thinking going is who you're taking out the team. Put it that way. So Hadji's got to go out the team. He definitely is. But I like the guy. The guy's
good talent. Just to come out the team, what would you be thinking when the team's announced at 2 o'clock on Sunday and Hadji's playing? What would Albert be thinking?
I'd be thinking Jerry's lose the plot. And his background's lost the plot as well. They can't tell me they've watched that game live and then watched that again and no seen that Hadji done nothing in that. Nothing, and absolutely nothing in that whole game. You can't have it. He's playing, and the way they've got him playing, or he's playing himself, coming off it and going deep and picking the ball. He's back to the goal and then trying to jink by the guy with a trick to turn to. Everything's wrong. Everything he's doing is wrong. And you can't tell me that's no the coach, and the coaching don't see that. So they need to take him out the team and work with him for a while and say, look, we need to get you in a frame of mind where you've got to on the half turn and you've got to be in the right areas to hurt teams. You can't hurt teams running towards your own goal and picking the ball up in the halfway line with a guy right up your hump, and you're trying to do a dummy to beat him first so you actually can get turned to run another 40 yards forward. It's stupid. He should be further forward on the half turn. That's just a basic one that I can see. Now they must see it. Obviously they must see it. So if he plays on Saturday, in my opinion, Gerrard needs to be brought into question again. He must see the boys no playing. He must. It's just rocket science to work out.
Exactly. Your favour, George, would be better taking them out and bringing them home and hopefully building a bit of confidence.
That's what you need to do with players like that, Ox. That's what happens. I'm not these bad players, Ox, but sometimes you just get caught up in things and a few bad games. I mean, it happened to Tav last year, Ox. Look at what happened with Tav last year, missing penalties and things like that. Sometimes you just got to take them out. And then even when we're 1-1 and 2, Ox, if the people come on and have a better game, it builds their confidence. That's exactly what we need with certain guys. We're maybe putting too much a need on certain players. We had you at certain times done well for us and things like that. Or Joe Aribo. We need to be careful with these guys as well, Ox. They're quite young.
People like these are phoning, these are thoughts. The number's 0141 356 1972 or joins at Skype at rangersradio.online. Come in and speak to Albert Bridge and George Logan. What's your thoughts, Bridge?
Well, I was just going to ask, is it sounds like everybody's quite unhappy with our manager. Not completely sick of him, but a bit upset and with selection and his substitutions.
I think people are disappointed that he's to try and turn the game. He thought the solution was to bring on Barker.
Yeah,
and I think that baffled. I'm going to say 90% of the support.
Yeah. I think that's what I'm meaning. There's a lot of people, not just people on the show here, but there's a lot of people kind of mystified as to what the manager's doing. So he has to come out and show bounce back ability and come and for Saturday afternoon show that he's up for the selection process and he's spoken to the players and they're going to do what he says they're going to do and they're going to come away with a result. That's the most important thing so far as that's concerned. And so far as the players are concerned, I take on board what the guys are saying about Hadji. I don't see the manager doing that to Hadji. I don't see him dropping him. But I've been surprised before and I would be delightfully surprised if he did it, because looking at that young lad, if there's anybody in our team needs to be, shall we say, brought back for a bit more coaching, heavy coaching in the way teams are going to play against us, then that young lad is a candidate for that, for sure.
Yes, mate.
To be fair, Gerrard knows more about football than I'll ever know about football. No, I mean, I'm not trying to say I know better than him or anything like that. He knows better. What I'm saying to Gerrard is, show me something. You know more about it. You're in the know. You see these boys training every day. You know football inside out. You've played at very high level. You've won every competition that's worth winning apart from the Premier League. But show me something now. What is it we're doing here? To bring Barker on in a situation like that is bordering on lunacy, in my opinion. And I think everybody else's opinion. I've not heard the Rangers. I mean, I've spoke to some of my mates and all that and all. And I don't think I've heard anybody saying, well, that was a right good sub, because it didn't work out, but I can see his thinking behind it. Nobody could even work out what he was trying to do with that boy. Going, what was he supposed to do? Jink by 12 players that were in the Kent and all that, who's a better player, can he do? But we think Barker's going to do it. It's nuts, absolutely nuts. But anyway,
it was a strange decision. Let that go, that game. Let's move forward.
Oh, it's going for me, but you've got to use it as a springboard for what you're trying to talk for on Saturday as well. You can't just dismiss it altogether. I mean, I would take Morelos out the team as well. By the way, I meant to say that as VP as well. I would take him out the team. You know, he's doing nothing. He's doing absolutely nothing. And I know he doesn't get any service, but the Alfie old would have went, I'm going to look for this, but I'm going to do something to rumble this game up. He's not doing anything, mate. He doesn't look interesting to me. Honestly, doesn't he? He's the 20% of the guy for the first half of last season that I see. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but something's not right with the boy. It's just no sitting right with him. I don't know what it is.
We've been joined by Fox. Evening, Fox. How we doing, Mucker?
Good evening, lads.
How we doing, mate?
I'm just listening into the way the boys are talking. Looking forward to the Kilmarnock game on Saturday. And even in taking in Livingston last week, how does a manager plan against these sides? I mean, if we're looking forward to Kilmarnock on Saturday, you're looking at obviously the form of the team you're playing against since the start of the season. So we'll look at Kilmarnock. First game of the season, went to Hibernian, where they would probably play open football and try and win the game. The third game against Ross County, I'd say, was similar. And then the game against St Johnstone, similar. The game we would need to look at Kilmarnock is the 1-1 draw with Celtic to get an idea of how they're going to pack their defence, because that's the only game you'll get a true look at what Rangers are going to face. And against Livingston on the Sunday, you know they're going to pack the defence, but what you're looking for against teams like that is a spark of magic for one of our players. It could have been Barisic's free kick. It could have been the goal that Kent missed for me, which was easier to score when he put it by the post. And it's very difficult for the manager and the backroom staff, I think, in Scotland, to judge how a team's going to play. I think to look for mistakes in their team, I think, is very difficult. I don't know if anybody would agree with that.
But were you surprised how Livingston played?
No, but it's not the case that I'm surprised at Livingston. What you're looking for at your squad then is a bit of magic out of somebody. If we score first, the game changes. As you know, they then have got to...
If we'd have scored the first hour, we'd have won 3-0 or something.
Aye, I'd agree with you, but when you've got a packed defence, 4 at the back and 5 in front of them, Ox, it's very difficult to break them down. Celtic found that out against Kilmarnock, that it's very difficult as well. They scored early, and then Kilmarnock shut them out until, I think it was Burke that scored, wasn't it? With a penalty kick. That's how they get back into the game, and then they shut the game back up again. And we'll face the same problem on Saturday, where you're looking for an early goal or a bit of magic out of one player to change the game.
Will these teams come out if they lose a goal, Fox? I don't know if they will. I don't think they would change their tactics for the first maybe 75 minutes if they were only one down.
Well, if you notice last year, what was happening was we done all the running about, chasing the ball, passing the ball, making movement, and then they're hoping after 75 minutes because their players don't spend that much energy. They just sit back and try and block everything. Our players are using up all their energy trying to create and go for all-out attack because that's what we're expected to do. It's a cat and mouse game, mate. And people that say we don't need Jack and Kamara, we will need them on Saturday because they're capable of breaking.
I agree with that. We'll need them on Saturday. I agree with that one, but I don't agree with the rest of what you're saying, folks. The trouble is, we're needing a bit of magic. We're needing a bit of inspiration. That's steps 3 and 4. Steps 1 and 2 is identify weaknesses in teams, and it's no formation weaknesses. It's individual. They're no happy people go down the left hand side. They're no happy people go down the right hand side. They're no happy with take a cross ball coming to the left or. The way we talk there is Livingston and Kilmarnock have no weaknesses when they play defensive football. Of course we have. Every team's got weaknesses. And it's individual players. It's no individual mistakes or systems that you're looking for. So you give the guy in our team, your Hadjis and your Morelos, Aribo, Kents, and a half a chance, is you need to identify the weaknesses in the opposition team. That's steps 1 and 2. Then you get 3 and 4, a bit of magic and a bit of inspiration. It's called giving them a horn, and that's the management's responsibility. 1 and 2 is the management's responsibility. 3 and 4 is the player's responsibility. But everybody's got to play a part. I mean, we sit week after week watching this crap, and I for one, don't ever see us change it. It's just the same formation, the same thing we do every week. And you go, some weeks it works, some weeks it don't work. You go, well, that's not good enough. What is the weaknesses in their team that we can exploit? Right, Aribo, you pull him. I mean, watch the goal that Big Aribo scored against Motherwell in the warm-up game. I mean, that one too. But watch what he does. It's nobody's on the ball. He takes the ball. He does the first pass to get a 1-2. But watch what he does when he patches the ball. The very first thing he does, he sails the guy a dummy when he's off the ball. So that allows him to take the next pass. There's not enough of that going on in our team.
That's what I'm saying, Albert. It's a bit of brilliance that gets you into the lead in these games. And,
but you don't think the boys worked that out himself, or Fox? Yeah, that boy's worked that out himself to get a bit of space. Some of our players don't know how to get a bit of space for themselves, create a bit of space. Now that's again down to the management to say we need to work on their awareness of how you create a bit of space for yourself, and that's what we're lacking. We're just stoning like statues. We're not quite statues, I'm not saying that, but we're seeing these players blocking us, and we're not doing enough to get them out of our way and make that wee space for ourselves, get the ball in a half turn, all the professional things that they do.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right,
sorry, mate. I'm a rant again.
You've been joined by a caller. Anyway.
We've been joined by our caller. Evening, caller.
All right, cunts.
Huh? All right.
That was one of the backward supporters from across the city, I take it.
Very intelligent, yeah.
Aye.
All right. Thanks for the call.
That one, you know, much better.
I'm glad he left his number. We'll speak to him after. Right, carry on.
I think he was one of the Celtic
coaches. On you go, Bridge. Oh, George, sorry.
But I see what we're saying here. I mean, we have been, me personally, I've been quite critical of how we played and things like that. But we're talking about changes in the team and things like that. The team still excites me, Ox. I still like, I mean, Joe Aribo, Hadji has got his moments. He's not consistent enough, but he has got his moments. Ryan Kent's got his moments. We Alfredo, I said earlier, I rate him at 25 moments. So I'm still excited about our team, Ox. And see if we didn't make any changes at all on Sunday, Ox. We've had that wee kick up the bum. I still believe we'd get there and win, but that's not the point. We need to make these changes for the games going ahead. So bringing in guys like Joe Aribo and things like that, we can win this game on Saturday and actually march on. And like you were saying earlier,
so
the wee kick up the bum is probably exactly what we needed.
If Balogun comes in the form he's in, if he's fit, I mean, I know Highlander's more a natural defender, but he's coming back long term. He might not play. He might, But if Balogun comes in with the form that he showed in the first few games, Aribo comes back in and say Roof that we decide that he's fit and he comes in for Hadji, does that improve our team by 20% for anybody?
Oh, absolutely. For me, it does. Right? Absolutely.
Big improvement.
Aye.
Fox? No, he's busy. George?
Aye, that's a big improvement for me, Ox, definitely. I think the big centre half we were on. Me personally, I was raving about him because we spent $4 million on a big centre half, and he's been unlucky with injury. Big Goldson's, he can make a mistake as well, but when we've got the big boy up, 32-year-old, he's got a bit of pace behind him. I quite like him, Ox. So I don't think our defence is the problem, Ox. That's the thing. I don't think our defence is the problem. We've got a right solid goalkeeper as well. James Tavernier's not everybody's cup of tea, but I think he's a good right back, and Barisic is one of the best going about it now. So at the back we're really strong, Ox. We are really, really strong. Forward line we're really strong as well. We need to get that connection in the middle, Ox. How do we get that? That's where we need to get that connection in the middle for the midfield to the forward line.
Alburn, you come, mate.
Exactly. Now, bearing in mind, I'm saying that the defence is solid, but they've not been up against anything. So let's be honest about that. The test, I think, will start on Saturday, and then for Saturday onwards, that's when the test is going to go for the. And don't get me wrong, I think they're up for it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not writing them off or anything like that, but don't be under any illusions. They've not been tested. Now that the game last week is the first real test. Well, no, they've had 4 tests. The forward lines have had 4 testers, and as you say, they're not playing well, but they managed to get the 3 results apart from last week. So there's still lessons to be learned. There's still improvement, and I think we all agree on that. Even Gerrard know that. Even the players would say there's a lot of improvement to come. But where is it coming from? How are we going to do it? When is it going to happen? When is the form changing for some of these players? Because some of these players have been off form now pre COVID, or then after that, when we come back, they're still the same player that turned the year after Boyle. And Alfie's still no scoring goals, enough goals for me. Scores 2 tap-ins there, and everybody jumps up and says, "Oh, he's great, he's brilliant, I expect the boy to score lay goals. I mean, honest to God, I really do expect him to score lay goals. To me, he's not the player. He's not the player that we had the first half of last season. So if we can get him playing, or if we take him out, put Itten in, and Itten plays a bit better than him, there's another 5-10% improvement added to your team right away for the weeks before. Mm-hmm. So it needs to be looked at. It really does need to be looked at. And if Itten's no up for it, ready for it yet, and Ruth's no fit yet, as we see, well, it's got to be Alfie again. But somebody needs to sit him down and talk to him now and say, look, you need to be a bit more in.
If you're no fit, Bridgeman, Itten and Ruth have played games in our first team. I don't know if I've always thought that you shouldn't be getting your fitness in the first team.
Hello, this is the SMS text delivery system.
Oh, carry on, Bridge.
SMS, the next one.
Carry on.
I agree. I think that that's why I say our manager and his coaching staff and his assistants, they need to get it right. If they're going to play Roof, they need to be sure that Roof
is fit.
In fact, correct. They have to make sure that he's fit and ready to start. And if he can't start a game, then he shouldn't be getting a game. And that's because everything that we're trying to achieve is actually sky high. It's a way up there. So there's a lot at stake, and it's unfair to put people in who we can quite easily turn and say he was rotten, or he didn't do this, didn't do that. Because
but if he's played 20, what did he play, about 25 minutes? And
yeah,
he's on the park roughly 25 minutes, and then he's got an hour week's training behind him. He must be close, mate.
I would suggest that. That's why I said I would. If they're fit and the management coaches think they're fit, then I would play the 2 of them and pull Morelos, let him come in at the second half. I don't see Morelos. I agree with Albert. There's something not right with Morelos. He's not doing it. He's not getting into position. And when he does get into position and he gets a wee bit barge, he's not doesn't like that and this, that, and the next thing. I want Morelos to be a shining star, which I believe he is. I think he's a fabulous player, but he's not showing it.
He's not showing it at the moment.
I think you've been a bit harsh on Alfie. I will accept he's no been top drawer, but I think some of the service has been poor at times. George Logan.
Aye, for me, Alfie's not the problem, Ox. I think they'll make their table with a bit. I think when we were saying about is James Tavernier the captain, and the question was asked and things like that. When you drop points, you always try and figure out who's to blame. But for me, Alfie's still doing it. If he gets the service, he'll still score goals. Hadji, I think Hadji made one past him. Ryan Kent very rarely made a past him as well. So he needs to get the ball up to him before he can score goals. So I don't think he's the problem, Ox. I really don't think he's the problem.
Can I just say, what I was speaking about was if the manager thinks that Roof is fit and Tien is fit as well, he has to play them. And he has to play them. There's only one person that can actually drop out, and that's Alfredo Morelos. If they want to show these guys that are playing, they're brought in as forwards, they have to get played. That's my opinion. If they're fit and the management think they're fit, then they should be getting played. And they have to be fit. Otherwise, it's just a waste of time. As well, just playing with the ones we've got if we don't.
If they're no fit, you're not being fed in them all better, are you?
Absolutely.
No, you're not giving them a fighting chance. No, I mean it's you've got to give them every chance possible. No, I mean to shine and get their careers off the Rangers to a flying start. No, I mean, but the boy Ruth I'm concerned about, in as much as if we push this boy too much, he might be out for 2 months with hamstrings and God knows what. So I think, look at Kent when he came back after he didn't do the pre-season training with us, and he tried too much in the first game and pulled his hamstring. That sort of scenario when he was out for, I don't know, many weeks. It was a few weeks anyway. So you've got to be careful. You need the boy. Of course we need the boy. And we need the boy to hit the ground, be good and hitting the ground running when he comes in. But as like you're saying, you've got to be super careful with him. You can't just keep giving him games and giving him double sessions and hoping everything's going to be all right. You've got to nurse him along. You've got to say, hold on a minute, I know all this science, this fitness science now about red zones and all that, so we've got to be, and I know they will be. I don't think they're going to panic to say we need to get him in, throw him in right away for a full 90 minutes or something. The boy looks keen enough when he comes on, I'll give him that, he does. I just like to say something about this 10 in a row nonsense I've been hearing tonight, but let's put this to bed once and for all. Come to the end of 21, but
you've heard it. We've gone for 55, mate. That's it.
Aye, that's and it. Also, by the way, come at the end of this season in 2021, and they don't win the league, they'll be panicking because that's 2 years they have not won the league. You know what I mean? So they'll be really panicking. So, and they're out to Stoke was getting 55. That 10 in a row nonsense. He's not that in the head. There isn't any such thing as 10 in a row. One of the callers come on earlier. I've never mentioned that. I never.
A boy come on the show.
Well,
yeah, you can't be always articulate and intelligent as you, Albert.
Oh, here, get a grip now. Get a grip. Are you drinking another hydra phone, boy?
It's been a bit of sarcasm.
And drinking.
I wish I was, mate. I wish I was. The boy Roof. I've seen a bit of him play, George. I've seen a bit of him play. Played striker locally where I live, and done okay. He buzzes about and he can take a chance. Leeds played him on the right, so that's the obvious choice for him to replace Hadji, because that's where Hadji's been playing. Well, funny enough, he wasn't playing. Aribo played in one game there, which I thought was strange, but there we go. But that would be an obvious swap if he's fit, because I think we need to be fair with the boy, yeah.
Aye, of course we have. I think he's a wee bit more further away, and I agree with you, Ox. Letting boys play in Rangers' first team to get fit isn't the way forward for me. I don't care if you're short or no. I mean, if you're bringing guys on that are not 100% fit, I've noticed when our sub comes on, Ox, the tempo goes right down. Now, I think that's down to the guys on the park to keep the tempo going for the subs to get up to that level. I agree with that, but it's dropping so much recently, and I agree with you. If they're not ready to play, they're not ready to play. But I would like to see Ruth start now. I think it's about time he started. And the big eating boy, the big striker, I think he looks well up for it as well, Ox. But for me on Saturday, I would definitely replace Hadji with Ruth and see if that makes any much of a difference, because Hadji wasn't, as much as Joe Aribo wasn't playing, against Livingston. There was Hadji, Ox for me.
All right, I know people don't want to look too far ahead. I want to bring Fox in. He's still there, Fox. Are you busy with the technicals? Still there, mate, aye. Look, we've got 2 games, Kilmarnock and Hamilton away. This is a sprint, then we don't play for 2 weeks. So it's all about taking 6 points out of 6, and that's it. End of. 6 points out of 6. Bridgeman.
That's exactly what we need. We want to, and I won't go past Kilmarnock, so we need 3 out of 3. Right? 3 out of 3 points out of 3 points. That's in one game. Simple as that. We need to win at the weekend, and then we go march on to the next one. We can only take it one game at a time, and I don't want to look past it. Biggest game of the season coming up. We need to go out there and show them at Ibrox that we can do it. Then we march on to the next, and we take another 3 points, because that's all it's be. It's going to be 3 points and 3 points and 3 points. And if we don't win, or we draw, or we lose, then it'll be a major disappointment for us. Major. So
what I'm saying, George, is we've got these 2 games. There's no midweek fixtures, so we've got 2 games in the next 10 days or so, which is quite a long period for us. Then we can regroup, because we've got a break. Obviously, some boys might be away playing a bit of international football, but a lot of our squad won't. So then we can get maybe your roofs and all that, so they're ready. So it's about getting it right, but it's all about taking this 6 points. George?
Aye, that's what matters. It's 6 points the most important thing. We can look back as much as we want, but the only way we're going to sort that is winning the next 2 games and getting the 6 points. People want us to start playing football and things like that. I want us to start picking up points, and like you say, going to that break with the points and only 2 that are dropped against Livingston. You're not going to be happy with it, Ox, but at least you've got to that point, and you're doing well as far as I'm concerned. So for me, the next 2 games, 6 points is an absolute must.
In fact, I'd take 2 Bridgemans, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be happy, but I would still take 2. Well, I would be happy if we took 6 points.
Absolutely, yeah.
Certainly, I don't care about the performance. I don't care about the scoreline as long as it's a victory. I don't care. I've said this all along, and as George said it earlier on, playing stinking to the end of the season but winning get all the games it's not doing me. I don't care about the performance. The performance is icing on the cake. Get the victories. They must know that now. I mean, they're no stupid boys. They're no daft. They know the score. So get out there and get it done. So no more mincing about. No more excuses. No more stupidness. No, I mean, go out there and show your ability, show your intelligence, show your ingenuity, and win the games.
Well, it'll be strange if we're moving on at 5th game of the season. There's still no supporters back in the Grunge, George. It's been really strange. Do you think it's affecting the watch when you're watching it on the TV? Like Sunday, I know you're quite local, you might have been there, but it's strange even watching it on the TV without a crowd in it.
Aye, it is, Ox. It really is strange, and I think that's going to affect a lot of the players as well. Ken, there's no fans there, but watching the games, Ox, I didn't think I could get in there. I watched a few of the Rangers games before the season started, and I've been watching the European games and things like that, and I'm not enjoying it. But to be fair, Ox, I quite enjoy watching the Rangers games. I'm quite enjoying just getting to see the football again, Ox. I don't know if it's just some kind of normality or whatever it is, but I'm actually enjoying. And I didn't genuinely watch a lot of football anyway on the telly, Ox. Obviously, I go to the Rangers games, but I genuinely didn't watch a lot of football. But as far as watching the football, I'm just glad to see football back, see football any sort of talk. So I didn't think I would have liked it, but I'm quite happy just with watching the Rangers again.
Bridgeman.
I 100% agree with George. Everybody, no matter which persuasion they are, as Rangers fans, maybe don't like it, maybe like it. I'm sure they'll all be pleased when they see that the football's back, and all we need to do is work up to getting the fans in the door, because I'm desperate for it. I've not seen my team for goodness knows how long. Okay, I'm seeing them on the telly, but it's not the same. It just isn't the same.
What I'm hearing, Bridge, that anybody under 55 will be allowed to go by October, and anybody over that will need to wait till well into the new year.
Well, that'll be me, knackered then, eh?
Only kidding.
I seen something.
Dye your hair, Bridge.
What's that, buddy?
Dye your hair.
Dye my hair.
You're getting 50, 55. I know, but going black-headed then.
Nice one.
Albert, it's been strange. Obviously, even the crowd didn't affect when we were all getting annoyed watching the game on Sunday, but it has been bizarre, isn't it? Watching the games at Ibrox.
I like to see the Rangers. Of course, I like to see the Rangers, but it's stinking. I don't like it. It's just absolutely stinking as far as I'm concerned. Not Clive Tilsley or whatever his name. Tom Miller for me every day of the week. Every day of the week, Tom Miller for me. I don't like that Tilsley at all. I just can't. He grates me, him. He's nonsense. I'm going to be fair. You know, Rangers are paying you. You've got to be pro-Rangers, you trumpet. And if Rangers are not playing well, I'm going to say he's shouting. I went, all right, that's no bad. You'll not be staying there long if you keep that up, I'll tell you. It's all right for us to criticise Rangers because we're Rangers fans, but you can't do it because we'll not allow it. But I want Tom Miller back. I want him to take the call. I know a lot of people don't like him, but I'll go for Tom every day of the week. Every day. I don't know how you feel about it, but I do.
I'm with you in that one, old bear, definitely. I like Tom Miller. A lot of people's got different opinions, quite out things like that. But for me, I like Tom Miller. I like the last game of the season when he tell everybody came, we're coming back, and didn't forget that you've had your wife for long enough. I like the way we Tom speaks about us, old bear.
You can feel that. You can feel and hear the passion off him. I love that.
He's been on the show, Albert. He's been on the show.
I remember. He was brilliant, wasn't he? He was brilliant.
He was really good, and he came on for an hour. And he was here the whole night, and I spoke to him the next day, and he was very, very positive. And obviously, he got Stu Burns on for us, and we spoke to him again about other things, and he's been first class. Obviously, a real Rangers man. Obviously, they've tried.
If he's listening. If he's listening, Oxley, I'm letting him know I'm with him 100%. I'm behind Tom 100%.
I'm sure he'll be back doing some games as things develop. But they have up to forgetting about what you think of Tilsley, but Rangers TV have upped their game, and for these games that all the season tickets holders are getting. Bridgeman.
Oh.
Is he not still doing the home games, the away games?
Well, obviously Rangers TV would have done. The Sky was on Sunday, people with Sky, and then obviously Rangers TV for the people outside the UK would have gone through that, yeah.
But
he would have been doing that, yeah.
Who would have been the commentator there on Rangers TV?
I think it was Tom, but
Tom, that's fine. Because I think that's what it is. I think he does the away games. And Clive Tilsley, who, look, he's a big name in the commentating. I dare say he's a very good commentator, no harm to him. But he doesn't have the same feel for Rangers as Tom has. And
what they've done is the whole production, the whole level, everything's been up. I didn't like some of the replays against St George. I thought that was a bit stupid. Every time they mentioned something, they showed you a replay and we missed again. But obviously they're learning and developing it.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think it's something that goes a bit too far. Oh, sorry, Albert.
Well, so they need to sort that out. I mean, that's ridiculous. I'm still on watching that St Johnson manager, and I'm going, I don't want to watch this Trump. I want to watch a game, and the game's rolling on in the back. You're like, come on, who's controlling these cameras? It's bad. I don't like that at all. It's bad. But Tilsley's all right. I can see what they're doing, Rangers, and they're playing a blinder when they're trying to get these people in, and the production's actually moved up a level. But that support and that aura about it, I think if wee Tom was in there, he would have done a professional job on it anyway. I mean, he never got that support that's now afforded Clive Tilsley. Is it Tilsley, isn't it? So I think wee Tom got that support over all the years. He'd have put on a thoroughly professional job. Not that he hasn't put on a thoroughly professional, but a better job than because he's got the equipment, he's got the support, he's got the infrastructure behind him. So. Aye, for me it's Tom. It's only my opinion. It's only what I like. I'm not trying to deny or run down what Rangers are doing. I can see what they're trying to do, and I can see what they're actually achieving with the professionalism or about it. But they want to move away from that gap.
Also, Kevin Thompson and beside him is a big improvement as well, because I think he's well respected as far as pundits are concerned. Very, very good at the football. Very, very good commentary, co-commentator. I think he's brilliant.
That's
George, obviously that's what we're getting because we're paid for season tickets. We deserve some decent service because we're not getting any football. Everybody's paid it without any complaints. Sir.
Well, that's
Absolutely.
a good. I mean, all the fans.
Your name's Albert. His name's George.
Sorry.
All the fans have been great in paying their season ticket in that auction. Everybody, I've seen a lot of folks saying how much the production's actually up on Rangers TV. I didn't watch a lot of Rangers telly because it was either on Sky Sports with the away game, sorry, or it was at the game basically. So I never really watched a lot. So a lot of folk, and it's quite positive for us to have these guys coming in and up in the ante a wee bit because the fans deserve it, Ox. Because see, at the end of the day, I mean, you were joking there a minute ago with Bridgeman saying they might not get into football to next year. I mean, they announced something today. They had planned to make a wee pilot scheme for the Scotland international game. But now FIFA have said there's no fans to get into the ground whatsoever. It's to be behind closed doors. So it's got to be even longer again. So we don't know when we're going to get into football. People are saying September, October. I don't know when we're going to get into football. So the better job they put on for us boys who's all actually paying for it to actually see it, the better it is for us.
Oh, Ben, you come, mate.
I don't know what I was going to say. You chatted me up.
The boys
I mean, they've paid their season. I mean, it's tremendous, absolutely tremendous.
25,000 in my jersey and rising. So if you take
it's
that,
unbelievable.
50, if you take
you
that,
think the money's, you think all the money's been spent? Well, that's what 1 million or something like that. My jersey one, something like that.
Well, it depends how many kids and that's involved, but approx.
So you're talking about that, you're talking about the season tickets, you're talking about the strips. There's some amount of money being generated by the Rangers support into the club now. I mean, it's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. So we're all doing our bit. Every single Rangers supporter is doing their bit. You know what I mean? So you can't argue that. And they deserve I suppose they deserve the commentary they're getting. But it's not for me. I know it's not for MD. I don't think anybody truly wants to see it that way. We all want to get out of the games. We all want, well, especially Ibrox. I don't go to away games, but I want to get into Ibrox. Bridge, I'm choking to get back into Ibrox. I want to get back in and see the team. And you can't beat a live game. You can see a lot of things. You soak up the atmosphere. It's just brilliant. We all know it is. But you're sitting in your living room screaming at your telly and she's just drawing you dirty looks. It's not the same. I quite like the guy next to me drawing me dirty looks when I talk crap, you know what I mean? But
it's not the first dirty look she's ever drew you, is it?
Oh, no. And it'll not be the last either.
When do you think we'll get back in? Seriously, I know it's not a football question, it's maybe health related. Bridgeman, do you think we'll be in this side of Christmas?
With the way things are going, I don't think so, no.
No,
I don't think so. I genuinely don't think so, but you never know. Maybe some strings will be getting pulled by certain people within the SFA and SPFL.
I don't think they'll not make that call. George, what's your thoughts?
Well, because I was starting to hope it was going to be, I heard the rumours of October and things like that. I was starting to hope it was going to be, but when you see the outbreaks here, there and everywhere, and you read what's actually happening in schools and things like that, I don't think we will be in this time of Christmas. And again, by the way, a lot of folks slaughtered certain quarters for having the first All Firm game as late as they possibly could. Well, I think that was a good idea because that deserves fans to be there. I don't think fans will be there maybe the first or second one, and that's sad. But the thing is, we're still getting to see the football, and it's health and safety before anything, really.
Aye. Anyway, we've reached that time of the evening. What about you, Bridge?
Well, what can I say? Another marvellous night, by the way. Oxford, thoroughly enjoyable. Really good teasing questions from yourself there. But everybody very delighted with all. Really happy. Can I just say to all the Rangers fans all over the world, in particular Rangers fans here on Rangers Radio, every single one is once again huge game coming up. Game of the season for us coming up. Biggest game. Everybody keep it going for the Rangers. Please keep it going.
Can I thank Albert for joining us? Always controversial, always got loads to say. Can I thank young Mark who came on? Felt his frustration. I know he was still hurting for Sunday, but don't worry about Mark, we'll be back. And thank the caller who phoned in. Thanks for leaving your number. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night between 8 and 10 talking about all things Rangers. We'll be joined but the one and only Fox will be joining us. So everybody will look forward to that. Thanks for listening. Take it away, Foxy boy.
A light shone in the night somewhere ahead. Blue turned into green and then it was red. And stirring the night, loud music played. The light I saw in the night was a penny arcade. Oh, step up and play, each machine seemed to say, as I walk round and round a penny arcade. And just ring a bell on a big bagatelle, and you'll make all the colored lights cascade, and music play in a penny arcade. Yes, it played and it played and played all the time. Roll up and spend your last dime. At first I thought it a dream that I was in. You know I was lost, so lost in a sea of glass and tin. But no, so dip in my hand in the back of my jeans. Well, I grabbed me a handful of coins to feed the machine. Oh, set up and play, each machine seemed to say, as I walk round and round a penny arcade. And just ring a bell on a big bagatelle, and you make all the colored lights cascade, and music play in a penny arcade. Yes, it played and it played, played all the time. Roll up and spend your last dime. Oh, step up and play, each machine seemed to say, as I walk round and round a penny arcade. And just ring a bell on a big bagatelle, and you make all the colored lights cascade, and music play in a penny arcade. Yes, it played and it played and played all the time. Roll up and spend your last, roll up and spend your last, roll up and spend your last dime. Hey, oh, hey. Roll up and spend your last dime. Thank you very much. Good night.